Hello everyone, it's Joe here from Draft FPL and welcome back to a weekly series helping you find some good value free agents and waiver pickups in Draft FPL. Okay, the festive madness is completely upon us, but I am back with a game week waiver pick video this week, thanks to the fact that there's no midweek games, there's no quick turnaround. It's just a nice standard game week, and I will try and get these out as often as I can, but to be honest, with the midweek fixtures and stuff like that, obviously I'm focusing on the Patreon content, so it is a struggle time-wise to get these out every single week, but when I do have the chance, I certainly will try to. So let's get stuck straight into the picks for this game week. First up, we're looking at Joe Gomez, available in 44% of Draft FPL leagues, and that is powered by draftfc.co.uk as always. Konate's out for the foreseeable future. Looks like it's going to be the new year before we see him again. So Gomez looks like he's the first choice replacement. Obviously, they do have Quansah there as well, but he hasn't really featured yet. So we think that Gomez is the man who is going to be starting. That doesn't mean he'll start every week. Obviously, with the quick turnarounds between games at the moment, he could easily miss a game. But I think he is going to keep his place for the most part, and Liverpool have an amazing run of fixtures coming up. Fulham at home this week, good chance at a clean sheet. Tottenham away next week's not as good. Then 18 and 19, it's Leicester at home, West Ham away, and they do have a fantastic run even after that. So for this period, while Konate is out injured, I think he's a really, really good waiver pick and someone you should definitely be prioritising. Next up, we've got Nelson Semedo, available in 94% of leagues. Wolves have had a fantastic fixture run recently, and they've got two more left until it kind of spins back the other way again. Ipswich at home this week and Leicester away next week. Two really good fixtures. Wolves' defence has been pretty bad, basically forever, and so, well, certainly since Gary O'Neill took over. But if they've got any chance of a clean sheet ever, this is one of the ones to look at. Ipswich at home, so I think, you know, if obviously Aït-Nouri is very highly owned, he's the one to get if you can. Next up, you know, Doherty's been playing wing back with Semedo at right centre back. I just think any game Doherty could miss out and Semedo could play right wing back. I don't see Semedo missing out. I think he'll definitely play one of the two positions. And if it is in the wing back role, he's obviously got more attacking threat, and that's better. But if not, he's still on for a decent chance at a clean sheet this game week, and next week as well is not bad either if you do end up having to keep him. I'd definitely drop after that though, because their fixtures do get absolutely terrible again from game week 18 onwards. Next up, we've got Zabarnyi of Bournemouth, available in 80% of leagues. Bournemouth have got a great run of fixtures as well. West Ham at home this week is really good. United away next week's not so good, but with their attacking data lately, it's not as bad as it looks. Then Palace at home, Fulham away, and 18 and 19 is really good too. When it comes to the Bournemouth defenders, Kirkes is by far the most attacking, and he's definitely the one to go for if you can, but he is pretty highly owned, so I didn't want to put him in this. Next up, I originally put Adam Smith, but when I actually looked into the data, he has basically zero attacking threat as well, and neither does Zabarnyi. Hoyson, I think that's like Hoyson, I think we're going with. He's been in the team since Senesi got injured and looks like he'll probably keep his place for the time being as well. He actually, the data looks really good, but that's mainly skewed by the fact he's only played 2 games and in one of them he got an absolute tap-in. So, you know, is he a good attacking threat? We have to wait and see. You could go for him, but there is always that chance that he could miss out, whereas Zabarnyi is just absolutely nailed on in this team without a shadow of a doubt. So, you know, in the absence of any real attacking data for any of them, I would just stick with the most obvious pick and the one that's definitely going to play. Next up, we've got Estupinan, available in 34% of draft leagues. At the start of the season, he looked like he was going to be an absolute must pick, someone that we all would like to get our hands on. It's not really panned out that way for Brighton. He's kind of been in and out of the team, but at the moment, Kadioglu and Veltman are both injured. The fixtures are really good for Brighton. Palace at home, West Ham away, Brentford at home. Even though the defence hasn't been great, you wouldn't be surprised if they keep a clean sheet in one or two of these next 3. So a Brighton defender at the moment does look like a good play. Estupinan, I think, is pretty much guaranteed to play at the moment, especially until Kadioglu's back. There's not really been that much information about Kadioglu. Apparently he is back training on grass, so you'd think maybe next week he might target a return. I can't see him being back this week if he's only just back on the grass, and I think even game week 17 is probably a push as well, but we'll have to check for more information on that. But yeah, I do think it'll be Kadioglu and Veltman once they're both fit. Veltman, I don't even really know what's happened with him either, so there's definitely one to play by ear, but for the time being, I think Estupinan and Lamptey are going to be the two fullbacks. If Estupinan is not free, then you could also go for Lamptey, who is available in 96% of leagues. His place is probably even more in jeopardy than Estupinan's, because once those other two are back, he's definitely going to be probably out of the team. So he did score a great goal last week, but his attacking data is not actually that good. Estupinan's is better, so I would go for him over Lamptey, despite his kind of wonder goal he scored last week. Maybe a cross, but I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. But I definitely would try and get one of them in if you can, just because, you know, these fixtures are really good. On to midfielders then. First up, we've got Jadon Sancho, available in 53% of leagues. Over half the leagues he's available in. I think this is an absolute steal if you can get him off the waivers. Personally, there's not a single midfielder that is likely to be free that I would put ahead of him in my waiver requests this week. Not words I thought I'd be saying, looking at his, you know, career history over the past couple of seasons, but I think he's actually kind of turning it around at Chelsea, and I think he looks good. Scored a great goal against Spurs last week, back from injury, looks fit, and I think of all the wingers that Chelsea have, all the many wingers that they have, I think he's the one with the most quality by far. And if you want to back one of them to keep their place and do well and actually start contributing to goals and assists, I think Sancho's the one you have to back, just because he does have that history of, you know, goals and assists. Okay, not in the Premier League, but, you know, he does have that pedigree. I think he's the one with the most quality and the one that I would back to do well. And Chelsea attack is looking really good. And the fixtures are incredible. Brentford at home this week, Everton away next week, Fulham at home, Ipswich away. That run of four is so good, especially for a winger. Brentford concede more chances on the wings than any other team in the Premier League. So this just seems like, and they're bad away from home. It's an absolute double whammy. I think Sancho's a fantastic pick this week. Next up, we've got Jacob Murphy, available in 98% of leagues. Newcastle's fixtures, the next two, Leicester at home, Ipswich away, don't really need to say much more than that. They get a little bit trickier after that, but for these next two, I think they are absolutely fantastic. Murphy, there's a chance he doesn't start, I suppose. You know, we could see a Gordon Barnes wing set up. Both Murphy and Barnes started last week, with Gordon coming off the bench. It doesn't give us too much information about who's going to be first choice. But Murphy got 2 assists and he played quite well on the day, so I'm backing him to start over Barnes this weekend. That is if Gordon comes back into the team, which I suspect he probably will. So yeah, 2 great fixtures. Even if he doesn't start, he's going to get half an hour, you would have thought, and half an hour against Leicester at home and Ipswich away is probably more than enough to do a bit of damage. He has got a decent returns per minute ratio this season so far, so definitely someone I would be looking to bring in. Next up, we've got Curtis Jones, available in 69% of leagues. Fulham at home, Leicester at home and West Ham away, 3 of the next 4. And as I mentioned earlier, that good run does continue after that as well, right through the Christmas period. He will miss out some of the games just because they do have midfield options, but I do think he is in their first choice 11. I'm pretty confident he'll start this weekend against Fulham. Available in 69% of leagues for someone playing in one of the best attacking sides in the league. And he's playing in a reasonably attacking role. It's not like the Jurgen Klopp days where the central midfielders never got forward. He is getting forward, so Szoboszlai. The returns haven't really been there yet. Not to a level of consistency we'd like to see anyway, but I do think he's a pretty decent pick actually. He's done quite well in the Champions League as well. Shame we don't get any points for that. But yeah, someone I think that is a little bit underrated at the moment, especially with how good these fixtures are. Obviously, Liverpool will have a double game week coming up as well. Looks like that might be game week 24. So not too far away. If you do want to keep one, you know, in your back pocket, he could be one to get. Next up, we're looking at Declan Rice, available in 43% of leagues. And a lot of people will be like, he's a DM, don't pick him. And that is true to a certain extent, but he's kind of not. He's not like when I went on and on about how bad of a pick Rodri was when he was playing DM. Rice isn't the deepest of the midfield three for Arsenal. He does play most of his football in the left-hand 8. There is a chance he could play deeper if Rice is at right back. If Partey's at right back, but I don't see it. I think it'll either be Partey at the deep role or Jorginho with Dec in the left 8, which I think is probably his best role for Arsenal. And when we play against real deep blocks, which we're definitely going to in game week 16 against Everton, who are probably the deepest team in the league, he is going to get forward loads. He'll be on the edge of the box and around the penalty spot for basically all of our attacks, because we're going to be building up slowly. Everton are just going to drop way off. There'll be loads of space for him to move into that kind of final line and even beyond Havertz when he drops deep. So when we play against a deep block, I think Declan Rice is a really good pick. And Everton at home, deep block. Palace away will be relatively deep. Ipswich at home will be deep. Brentford away will be deep. I think this is a really good time to pick him up, to be honest. Final midfielder today then is Dango Ouattara, available in 100% of leagues. I tipped him the other week when Semedo was suspended, thinking that he would start, but he actually didn't. Came off the bench, and he's come off the bench in each of the last 3. But Tavernier has now suffered a hamstring injury, who originally was going to be in this video. I was literally typing it out in the Patreon post earlier as he kind of got confirmed he was going to be out for like a month. So I think with him out long term, it does mean that I'm sure Dango's going to get a decent amount of minutes over this spell, because he actually does provide something a little bit different. He's got that raw pace, and he is very, very good 1v1. Creates a little bit of chaos as well in the opposing box, which suits the likes of Semedo and Evan Nilsson, who can pick up the scraps. He is available in 100% of leagues. There is a chance he doesn't start this weekend, but West Ham at home, it's a really good fixture. Monday night as well. It's quite nice having a player playing that last game of the game week, just so you've always got a little bit of hope you can win your matchup. And I think he's probably going to start, and he's been the one that comes on for Tavernier most of the time, so now that he's injured, you'd expect Ouattara to start. And Bournemouth's fixtures are really good. West Ham at home, Palace at home, and Fulham away, 3 of the next 4. And even going to Old Trafford is not really a particularly daunting thing at the moment. So they've got a good run over the festive season, and if Dango gets decent minutes through this period, he could be a really good pick. On to forwards then, and it's Cameron Archer once again that I am touting, available in 47% of leagues. I absolutely hate the forwards this year. Honestly, you could have 3 decent forwards if you drafted well, or you managed to get on the likes of Evan Nilsson or Jimenez early for your 3rd spot. But if you haven't, it is so grim. There is nothing on the waivers, and every week the only players that are available are Archer and Armstrong. And I think Archer is slightly better than Armstrong, which is why he's in the video, and Armstrong is not. I would say that Saints do create some chances, so it's not crazy, and Archer's data is not that bad. Tottenham at home is a good attacking fixture. Tottenham's defence is absolutely stinking, and they concede a lot of big chances, normally to the number 9 of the opposing team. So actually, I do think there's a decent chance at points this week, and the fixtures after that are pretty good as well. Fulham away, West Ham at home, Palace away. These are games that Saints absolutely need goals and points in. And, if you've got someone that's just not playing, then Archer's probably better than that. Would I start him? I probably would start him if especially if you're dealing with injuries and stuff, suspensions, you're holding players like someone like you got Jota, and you need that attacker that actually kind of definitely plays, that 3rd striker, then I think Archer's not a bad shout. I wouldn't go much further than that though. Okay, that wraps up the picks for Game Week 16. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Check out the Patreon in the link down below. I'm hoping I'll be able to get one of these out for the next few game weeks until it really turns to chaos actually over Christmas. But we'll see. If you want picks every single week, no matter what, as well as other content, then just join the Patreon, because I guarantee you I will not miss a week on that. Thank you all for watching. Goodbye.